Munchausen by proxy is a disease in which a parent or a caregiver purposely harms a child in order to receive attention and sympathy from others. Today I will discuss the real-life tragedies of 3 women diagnosed with this disease. These 3 women were the mothers of all the children who died. They are Lacey Spears, Ashley Jennifer Casey, and Mary Beth Tinning. The thought of harming or murdering a child is horrific, but these women seem to be unfazed by it all. Lacey Spears was accused of killing her 5-year-old son, Garnett. Garnett was always in and out of the hospital for various reasons, since he was 5 days old. His mother, Lacey, started a mommy blog where she would post problems with Garnett and gain sympathy from other mothers. Her last post was, "My sweet angel is in the hospital for the 23rd time," reported by Lindsay Bever, reporter for the Washington Post. On the final day of his life, Garnett died from extreme toxic levels of salt thought to be injected by his own mother into his feeding tube. Garnett had a feeding tube because his mother claimed he could never gain weight. Lacey admitted to adding just a pinch of salt into his fruits and vegetables to make them taste better. Unfortunately for Lacey, his sodium levels could not lie. In the Ashley Jennifer Casey case, this mother was also accused of murdering her son. Officials were never suspicious until she brought her daughter to the hospital. Her daughter had suffocated, the same reason Ashley brought her son to the hospital 4 years earlier. Fortunately, her daughter was revived. She later told police that when she was suffocating her daughter, she believed it was all a dream. After hours of interrogation, she admitted to smothering her son. In the 2009 death of her son, she admitted holding a blanket over his mouth until he stopped breathing. She said she did not expect him to die, as she had done it before and he started to breathe again. Written by an unknown CBS local media reporter. Known to be the worst case of Munchausen's ever was the tragic story of Mary Beth Tinning and the death of all 9 of her children. At this time, Munchausen's was unknown, so when Mary Beth brought her children to the hospital, they had a diagnosis for all their deaths. Many neighbors and friends deeply sympathized for her and thought it was just genetics, even though one of her children were adopted. The first to die was her 8-day-old daughter, diagnosed with meningitis. Her 2-year-old son, diagnosed with a respiratory disease. Her 4-year-old died of cardiac arrest. Her 2-week-old died from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Her 5-month-old diagnosed with a pulmonary edema. Her 2.5-year-old, although no longer an infant, was also diagnosed with SIDS. Her 3-year-old died of respiratory complications. And the last to die was her 3-month-old, who simply just stopped breathing in her crib, according to her mother. The adopted child was said to have died in the car on the way to the hospital. Mary Beth Tinning admitted to murdering all 9 of her children. "I smothered them each with a pillow because I'm not a good mother," she said. To medical professionals in town, the scene had become a familiar one. Mary Beth, in hysterics, would rush to the emergency room with a blue-tinged child in her arms and an improbable story on her lips. Written in a report by New York Daily News reporter Mara Bubson. Lacey, Ashley, and Mary Beth are just 3 out of the many cases involving Munchausen's. Death is not usually the intended outcome because they are always looking for attention. It is often caused by some form of miscalculation. Unfortunately, this is a psychiatric disease, and these beautiful children died at the hands of their own mothers. Munchausen's often goes undiagnosed until it is too late and a child's life has ended.